Okay, I want to clear something up here. This whole Venus-Saturn thing is getting completely out of hand. Venus is the goddess of love, okay? Every song that you hear about Venus, it's all about love, romance. It has to do with sex. The word romance or romantic, okay? Girls say, oh, it's so romantic, or the romantics, or whatever you want. It still has a bad side to it, but it's based on sex. The word romantic is Rome antics, which means debauchery, which means sex. But it doesn't mean destruction, okay? All your songs about Venus are about a female and about love, okay? It's best known as the goddess of love, okay? Yeah, jealousy and all of that goes with love, but it's not the destroyer. All the songs about Saturn are bizarre, dark, twisted. A lot of them are German, nothing against the German people, but lots of them are Nazistic, and they're all about hate, death, and destruction, racism, Aryanism, all kinds of bad, really bad stuff. And so this thing that they're trying to say that Venus is the destroyer, it is not Venus. That is a New Age ploy to cover up the old world order, which is exactly what is staying in place. There is no new world order. It's the old world order being repackaged under this Venus assumption. Purple represents the abyss. It has nothing to do with love. It has to do with a recreation of an older creation that they want to bring into fruition now. In the zodiac, it's the water bearer, Aquarius. Okay, that's Saturn. The return to the golden age of Saturn. Not the return to the golden age of Jupiter or the golden age of Venus. There never was any. Okay? Saturn got to be the big dog because when they looked at the planets, it was number one, it was the one that shone the most light on the nighttime upon the Earth. Number two, it takes the longest to go around the solar system. 29.5 years. Or 30 years. That's a big number. 3, right? And so that all has to do with world domination. Venus has to do with love. So if you want to bullshit people, you use the Venus stuff to tell everybody, oh, it's all love and peace and joy. But if you know what you're looking for, the symbols for Saturn are always there. They are not there for Venus. So you guys can keep making these videos because I see this is your new tactic. It's all about Venus. If you go look at Trample on Snake's video with the girl with the red hair, do you know what the people with the red hair are? They're the Trojan warriors for Kronos. Got news for you. Kronos ain't Venus. Kronos is Saturn. See how that all works out? How interesting. The word Israel from the Phoenicians, what the Jews speak. They're called the children of Israel. Well, who is Israel? The word translates literally into Saturn. So they're the children of Saturn. Hence, the people that are in the know deem the Jews the children of Satan because Satan is synonymous with Saturn. Why? Because it's death and destruction. And everything that surrounds the Jews, they get accused of death and destruction. So you guys can keep playing this Venus card for all you want. 33. It's 9. It's Saturn. On the Kabbalistic tree, 9 is Saturn. Not 8, like some people keep trying to push, because that's on another scale. Okay? All of these murders and stuff, the Columbine thing, what were the kids called? That Klebold and that other kid, what were they called? The black trench coat mafia, not the purple trench coat mafia. Okay? People wear Saturn because it's its color of authority, Saturn. It's black, it's Romanesque. It goes back to the original laws of Phoenicia. And Phoenicia didn't have jack shit to do with Venus. That's all more tied up with poetry and love and reasons for birth and sex and all of that. As a matter of fact, Jesus is more associated with Venus than he ever was with Saturn. Look at the seal of Saturn, which is basically called a crosshatch design, represents the cubes that the entities are locked in. Period. Hitler's game is he wanted to get the middle of the earth, like you saw in the movie Prometheus. Well, that was based on what Hitler was doing. He wanted to get down there to release those things. Then he would be in command of them, and there would be a race of supermen. Go look at the symbol on Superman's chest. It's got an S in it. It's a sine wave. It represents time. It represents the planet Saturn. So here we have a race of big 6'6" guys that are supermen wearing red and blue. Gee whiz, what are those colors associated with? The purple represents the abyss. Okay? When you go watch the show I Dream a Genie, what does she wear? She always wore purple. Why? Because a genie in Arabic is a jinn, and a jinn is a demonic entity. Okay? All of these planets and all of this stuff all have an evil side to them in one aspect or another. But that one, the one with the ring around it, which is incidentally why you wear a ring around your finger, because it's the god of matrimony, not Venus. Okay? He's the god of agriculture. He's the god of everything on this planet. Why? Because Satan is the ruler of this world. That's why. That's what we're really talking about here. Saturn is just the name of the planet, but because it's the biggest and the baddest, he's the dude that's running everything down here, but he's androgynous. He's split into two factions, the male and the female. Okay? But it's the female aspect of this whole thing that is the destroyer. So what they're doing is they're trying to take the fact that it's a female and Venus is a female, and they're trying to put those together to say that it's Venus. It's not Venus. It's the female aspect of Saturn. When you look at a Pepsi can, you got a red, you got a blue, and you got a white line. One is the positive, one is the negative. And the white line in between is the perfect balance. So male, female. The female is the negative, not the positive. The male is the positive. The white line in between is the perfect harmonic balance between the two. So you've got science, you've got alchemy, you've got theology, you've got mythology. But, please, the cops don't wear a six-pointed star in purple suits. Okay, they're wearing black because black is the color of Saturn. It's the god of authority. And, and the Masons, they may have a thing going with this whole Venus thing, but it's not their main gig. That's why their floors are checkered black and white. That all goes back to Phoenicia, which Phoenicia didn't have shit to do with. The Phoenicians had nothing to do with Venus. And no, it's not Phoenician blinds. It's Venetian blinds. They go on a window, you dope. All right, so there you go. Now, the other aspect is that one of the most outer rings of Saturn is completely purple. Do you think maybe that might have something to do with it? Maybe the people that run this planet, maybe they gauge what's going on here or what they're trying to do by the different colors and the rings of Saturn. Maybe just like a CD, as the information feeds out from the center, unlike a record or an LP that went from the outside in, maybe the purple that we're seeing is the ring of Saturn that shows that this is the end of the cycle and a new cycle is about to begin. I don't know. I'm just saying, just go look. One of the outer rings, there's a couple very differing degrees of purple within those rings, but there's seven major rings, which is where you get your notes, which is the one of the outer rings. I think it might be the G or the F ring is purple. Who's to say? Maybe that's the way this whole thing works. Maybe the people on Earth that run this and know the old Babylonian laws look up at Saturn, and when they see a certain ring has come into fruition, maybe that's how they set things in motion. I don't know. I'm not privy to it. I don't belong to any organizations. I don't read the Kabbalah. I don't have the book in my house, although a lot of people have accused me of having it, seem to be showing it off themselves and, taking, romantic shots with their boyfriend and girlfriend, but we're not going there because that's a done deal with me. That's over with. So just think about it. It's the seal of Saturn. It's not the seal of Venus. Show me what the seal of Venus is. I'd love to see it. Somebody came on last night and said, Barbarian Rebellion made a video last night. You should check it out. Maybe you'll learn something. Nah, I'm afraid not. That ain't going to happen anytime soon. I think he's the one that said a couple weeks ago that it was the return of the golden age of Jupiter. Go figure. One last thing. If Venus is the god of his love and Saturn is the god of chaos and destruction, where do you think we sit in the world right now? Which one do you think is a stronger force? Look at the banking situation. Look at the wars that are going on. Which one do you really think is running the show here? Is it really Venus? Really, guys? I'm not supporting this whole Saturn alien thing. I'm trying to show you that's what it is. I wish the fuck none of this was happening.